So friends, this story of Amul begins with 1940s when farmers in a village in India used to make a living by selling the milk of their cow and buffalo. In the morning, the women would get up, serve the animals, express milk, and then go out to sell to the farmers. But the problem was that they could not get the right reward for their hard work because the entire milk business was controlled by contractors and middlemen. In fact, the farmers did not have any other option because the farmer had to sell that milk in any case. Otherwise, it would go bad by the next day, and taking advantage of this, the middleman used to buy milk at a very low price from which he used to make a lot of profit. But then at the same time, i.e. in 1945, the British government came up with the Bombay Milk Scheme, after which the farmers started to understand the fraud that was happening to them. Basically, under this scheme, milk was bought from farmers and taken there to Anand town in Gujarat, which came inside the Kaira district in British times. Actually, what happens in a pasteurized processor? This milk is heated to a set temperature and then quickly cooled so that the harmful bacteria present in the milk are eliminated, and then this milk can be stored for a longer time. Now, after the completion of this processor in Anand city, the milk had to reach Bombay, 427 kilometers away, and the tender went to Paulson Company. The Akchawali company used to make products such as butter and ghee from milk, which were used by British officers and wealthy locals in India. Now the British government had given the entire control of milk production and distribution in Gujarat to the dairy. That is why farmers had to sell milk to this company. The situation was so bad that if the market price was Rs5 a litre, right? Farmers were consequently compelled to sell milk at a mere 1 or 2 rupees per litre, facing a wholly one-sided transaction as they lacked both bargaining clout and alternative purchasers or allies. That wasn't the end. Farmers also had to bear the cost of delivering their milk to the collection center themselves, and if there was even a slight decrease in the quality, then payment was not given, due to which the condition of the farmers of Kaira district was getting worse and many farmers were forced to commit suicide. Now when these problems of farmers increased beyond the limit, their anger exploded and they filed their complaint. Tribhuvandas Patel was a respected leader of Kahra district at that time who always raised his voice for the rights of farmers. In such a situation, when the farmers put their problems before him, he took them with him to Congress leader Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was considered the messiah of farmers. Now he may not have any government post, but his voice was heard throughout the country. Even the mention of his name caused the British discomfort. Sardar Patel informed the farmers accordingly. Farmers also have to unite and form a cooperative committee. This meant that now farmers will run their own dairy, they will do the collection and distribution themselves, and there will be no middleman in the whole process. So the entire profit will be distributed among the farmers. Sardar Patel also explained to them that if they work together, so they have the ability to circumvent Paulson and directly dispatch their milk to the milk division in Bombay. Moreover, to accomplish this task, he dispatched a prominent Congress leader and freedom fighter, Morarji Desai, to the Kheda district. Indeed, the same Morarji Desai who subsequently assumed office as the Prime Minister of India. Sardar Patel instructed Morarji that if necessary, he should not waver to stand up for the farmers, and hence the Kaira district, often referred to as Kheda. After coming there, Morarji Desai held a meeting in the village of Samarka on January 4, 1946, in which it was decided that a cooperative committee would be formed in every village of the district. Farmers are planning to vend their dairy to them. If a business or even the UK government needs to purchase milk, they are obliged to negotiate a deal with this committee. If they decline this arrangement, they won't acquire any milk. As anticipated by many, the UK government was quite displeased with this new farmers organization and decidedly did not sanction any such cooperative. But this time the farmers were determined that they would not tolerate this injustice anymore. That is why they went on strike and stopped the entire milk supply. The British government also tried everything possible to crush this movement. False cases were filed against them to intimidate the farmers. But the unity of the farmers was so strong that they withstood every threat. After 15 days of the strike, the government's Bombay Milk Scheme began to spread completely due to the interruption of milk supply. Due to the severe shortage of milk, the pressure on the British government increased, and then ultimately they had to agree to the farmers' demands. Meanwhile, the farmers also suffered significant losses, but they kept their spirits up and succeeded in this protest. Following this, the Kaira District Cooperative Milk Producers Union Limited was established in June 1946 and it was formally registered 6 months later on December 19, 1946. Not only that, by 1948, this cooperative committee had also started pasteurizing milk for the Bombay Milk Scheme. Tribhuvandas Patel ensured that the benefits of this cooperative reached every farmer irrespective of their caste, religion or financial condition. To properly implement this vision, Tribhuvandas designed a 3-tier structure. First, village dairy cooperatives were established where milk was collected and its quality checked. After this, the milk was pasteurized, packed in leak-proof packaging to make it transport-friendly, and then distributed. A federation was formed to handle marketing and distribution. By the end of 1948, approximately 432 farmers had joined this cooperative and were supplying around 5,000 liters of milk daily. In the following years, both the number of farmers and milk production increased exponentially. The situation reached a point where even the Bombay Milk Scheme couldn't absorb this much milk. This problem worsened in winter because buffaloes produce about 2.5 times more milk in this season compared to summer. Due to heavy production and low consumption, farmers became so desperate that they began selling their milk to middlemen at throwaway prices again. The biggest challenge now was what to do with the surplus milk. But then Dr. Verghese Kurien, whom we lovingly call the milkman of India, came up with a solution. Dr. Kurien was a visionary who completed his master's degree in mechanical engineering from the USA in 1949. Upon completing their education, they were dispatched by the officials to serve at a state-operated dairy in Anand, Gujarat. Initially, Dr. Kurien did not find this assignment pleasing. However, it was at this juncture that he encountered Tribhuvandas Patel, who elucidated the challenges that agriculturalists endured. Dr. Kurien swiftly grasped that to mitigate milk spoilage and to aid the cultivators, it necessitated actions beyond merely marketing the milk. He suggested the idea of making butter, condensed milk, and milk powder from the extra milk. This not only allowed milk to be stored for a longer time, but also significantly increased its market value. Now friends, making butter was easy, but there was a big problem with milk powder as it was generally made from cow's milk, while most farmers in Gujarat had buffalo milk. There was no technology available to make milk powder from buffalo milk, but Dr. Kurien didn't give up here either. He did. He sought help from his friend Harichan Megha Dalaya, who had completed his masters in dairy technology from Michigan, and then Harichan Dalaya used his expertise to create the world's first buffalo milk spray dryer. This was a major technical success that for the first time paved the way for making milk powder out of buffalo milk. This innovation not only proved to be a boon for the farmers, but it also gave India a new identity in the dairy industry. On October 31, 1955, which is Sardar Patel's birthday, the Cooperative Society opened its first milk plant. It was not only India's but Asia's largest milk plant due to its capacity of processing 100,000 liters of milk daily. Now that it was decided that various types of dairy products would be made from farmers' milk in this cooperative, it became necessary to have a brand name for these products. Thus the name selected was Amul. But the question arises, why Amul? Why the name well came from two main reasons. The first reason was that the word Amul is derived from the Sanskrit word Amulya, which means priceless or invaluable, representing the true value of milk and other dairy products. The second reason was that if you take the short form of Anand Milk Union Limited, it also becomes Amul. However, friends, the path of Amul wasn't straightforward due to Amul's butter initially facing significant challenges at launch. The primary cause of this struggle was Polson's butter dominating the market then. In reality, Polson's butter was produced using stale cream left unrefrigerated for a week, leading to sourness. Moreover, Polson's butter possessed a distinct flavor. Additionally, Polson incorporated an excessive amount of salt to extend their butter's longevity, which resulted in a pronounced salty flavor. And one other significant aspect was that butter crafted from cow's milk traditionally had a light yellow hue and a familiar mildly salty flavor. However, when Amul introduced its butter, it was freshly made from cream on that very day. Hence, it lacked any sourness and was free from salt. Meanwhile, the Amul butter produced using buffalo milk appeared white, a contrast that did not appeal to those accustomed to the yellow, subtly salted Polson butter. To tackle this disparity, Amul began seasoning their butter with salt and infusing it with a shade of yellow to simulate the conventional look. While Verghese Kurien was originally not in favor of these adaptations, citing his strong belief in the values of freshness and quality, he eventually acknowledged the critical role customer preferences and their established habits play in the success of a brand.
After these changes, Amul's butter gradually became popular among the people, and Amul not only challenged Polson but also took its place. But friends, behind the success of Amul was not only the hand of farmers and Dr. Verghese Kurien, but also a cute girl from whom we know as Amul Girl. Yes, the same girl with the dot frock that you must have seen on the packet of Amul product. When Amul's brandy name was decided, it had no solid identity at that time. But this deficiency was filled by Amul Girl because she not only became the identity of Amul but also immortalized in Indian advertising history. Because this campaign started in 1966, is still going on today, and it is counted among the longest running advertising campaigns in the world. Not only that, the name of this campaign is also registered in the Guinness World Records. But the question is that Amul Girl is the only one who owns this brandy. Why was DT formed? In fact, this iconic character was born Polson's Butter Girl. The beginning was a reaction when Polson butter was recognized by an adorable girl named Butter Girl. Dr. Verghese Kurien along with his colleagues pondered that if Polson could gain recognition with Butter Girl, then Amul might embrace a similar idea and surpass it. And so, advertisement expert Sylvester and his crew proposed the concept of the Amul Girl, marking the start pre-advertising campaign. Compared to Polson's Butter Girl, Amul Girl not only promoted the product but also creatively addressed daily events and relevant issues. We got carried away with emotions and went a little ahead in the story. But let's go back to the 1970s when Amul's success brought about a human revolution in Gujarat. Every district began forming similar unions that directly connected milk traders. But Dr. Verghese Kurien quickly realized that if bananas start competing with each other by making their own brandy, then it will start causing harm to everyone. And then to find a solution to this problem in 1973, the government established the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. This federation brought the unions of all the districts together to work under the brandy name of Amul. After a few years, it was the Butter King in the Indian market. Gradually it started to weaken. And the big reason behind this was the policy of the government. In fact, the government has decided that the dairy industry will be operated entirely through cooperative organizations. But the biggest impact of this new policy was on private companies. Polson could not adjust to these new roles and surprisingly had to close his business. At the same time, Dr. Verghese Kurien started Operation Flood in India, which is also known as the White Revolution. This is the largest in the world. There was a development program under which milk was collected from villages and supplied to different parts of the country. This initiative was very successful. This India has become the largest producer country in the world, and friends, Amul not only made the farmers economically strong but also the customers are fresher. Quality dairy products. Meanwhile, Amul was also expanding its product portfolio. For example, in 1980s, Amul also entered the cheese and ice cream segment. This increased its reach even further. Amul's popularity was so high in the 80s and 90s. Its fake products also started coming into the market as many scammers started selling Amul's level on poor quality products. To tackle this problem, Amul has taken strict legal action by adding holograms and unique codes to its packaging and also run large-scale campaigns to make consumers aware. I have milk. Dear uncle, I'm curious about which milk cream doesn't contain Amul butter, as true butter is Amul butter. Even amidst the difficulties, Amul continuously pursued its growth. In the 1990s, for instance, it introduced delicious flavored milk. And during the 2000s, products such as Amul Cool Masti, refreshing buttermilk, and wellness-oriented items like Amul Pro were introduced. By 2010,
Amul included ready-to-eat and dairy-based desserts in its portfolio, and with the help of its extensive product portfolio, it established a strong presence not only in urban markets but also in remote village areas. It was the result of Amul's hard work and determination that in the financial year 2010-11, it crossed the milestone of $2 billion in sales turnover. Exactly 10 years later, when COVID-19 pandemic hit India, during which the Indian economy incurred a loss of more than crores of rupees. Many billion-dollar industries faced difficulties at that time, and the dairy industry was one of them. Due to this crisis, milk producers in India were suffering a loss of approximately Rs 112,000 every day. However, during these tough times, Amul was the only legendary company that not only minimized its losses but also managed to increase its revenue to Rs 7 billion. In fact, Amul noticed during the time, although the demand from restaurants and hotels had ended, there was a significant increase in milk product consumption in households. Additionally, due to the pandemic, people began shifting from loose milk to packet milk, and Amul seized all these opportunities with both hands. Now friends, the chain is very large and well organized. Amul has a total of 18,700 societies that handle milk collection and distribution. Additionally, 5,000 milk tankers deliver milk to 200 chilling stations every day. Moreover, there are 10,000 distributors who deliver products to retailers in their respective areas, and over 1 million retailers who bring Amul products to consumers. Today, Amul has a direct connection with more than 3.6 million farmers and exports its dairy products to over 50 countries besides India. But friends, in the end, I just want to say that Amul is not just a dairy brand. It is the story of the hard work and struggle of those millions of farmers who work every day to improve the future of themselves and their families.